Hi guys, what's the crack? You're watching K Reviews, and right now we're going to talk about Point Break, the remake. What is your breaking point? Turns out mine was 10 minutes into this movie when I realised, oh shit, I've spent money on this. Directed by Erickson Core, Point Break is a remake of the 1991 movie of the same name. And just like the original, follows an FBI recruit named Utah who goes undercover with a group of athletes to figure out whether or not they're behind a number of extreme heists or not. Now the film features a lot of impressive stunts and aims to give you an exciting thrill ride of a movie. I say aims because it doesn't hit its mark. In fact, it misses it by a long shot and leaves the audience with one question. What's the point? Why did they feel the need to remake Point Break? I think everyone can agree, if you've seen it, that the original Point Break is a good movie. But it's not a classic. It's not something that needed to be reimagined. It's not like, you know what the world needs right now? The world needs more Point Break. We need to reimagine Point Break. That is what the world is lacking, right? There's too many superhero movies, but Point Break, absolute classic, needs to be retold, from the 1990s. That was so long ago. The world's probably forgotten about it. We need to bring it back. Point Break just didn't need a remake. So you're sitting there watching it going, why? Why is this being remade? I don't get why this is being remade. Is it being reimagined? Is it being told in an interesting way? Is it just that a group of people wanted to make a movie featuring stunts, right? They just wanted to make lots of cool stunts, and to be fair, the stunts in it are cool and really impressive. But is it just that they wanted to make lots of cool stunts in a movie and then said, you know what? To make this really sell, we'll slap Point Break as the title and we'll just change people's names and put in a few Point Break elements. Because Point Break, it didn't need a remake. It just didn't need it. So that's its first con and not its last, okay? Because being a pointless remake is not its only problem. And it wouldn't be such a big issue if it was just a pointless remake. The biggest problem is that the movie is just overall a poor effort. It's just shy of the 2-hour mark, and to be honest, it could have been done with being a bit longer because the movie rushes past everything and you get no time to get to know any of the characters or to get invested in any of the characters, which means, as a result, you just don't care. The main character's backstory is given to you within 5 minutes of the film. Alright? Instead of just giving you this dark, brooding character with a past that you can sense and telling it to you in flashbacks, 5 minutes into the film, you know exactly what the main character's whole backstory is, what his motivation is, what his plot is, and you're like, okay, alright, he had a traumatic thing happen to him, but you don't even care because you didn't know him at all at any point in the film, so it doesn't linger with you at all. You don't even care. The acting is also dreadful. There is not a single actor in Point Break who stands out in any way and whose performance makes you go, yeah, I buy that, I can really get behind that character. Ray Winstone plays another FBI agent in it, and he just gives the impression he doesn't even want to be there. And if the actors don't want to be there, then the audience definitely won't want to be. And any of the throwbacks to the original just go over your head. It's kind of like, oh look, that just happened to make sure that this is Point Break, Like, there's the famous shooting in the air scene from the original Point Break. And when that happens in this movie, it just happens. You're just like, oh look, they did that scene. It just it has no emotional weight. It just sort of happens. It was actually done better. I've seen this scene done better and done more justice in parodies of Point Break. It was actually done better when they parodied it in the movie Hot Fuzz. That scene in Hot Fuzz alone, which is a comedy, had more emotional weight to it than the entirety of the Point Break movie. You know what? Hot Fuzz is a damn good movie. But there are some pros despite the overwhelming cons, okay? The stunts in it are incredibly impressive and would have been really hard to film, really hard to perform, and they're all real from what I can tell. So that's impressive. The score is also really good and it definitely hits heights that the movie doesn't. The score kind of builds the movie up to be something that it's not. There's a bit of epic scale to the music that the movie definitely doesn't have. But that's it. Those are the pros, and I had to dig for them. I was trying to come up with something I could say good about the movie. All I could come up with the stunts, which you can't fault. The stunts are good, and the music. The music is good, but otherwise, I mean, the trailer sold a different movie. The trailer sold a movie that was, here's a group of people that perform these heists using insane stunts, and then the FBI have to try and hunt these guys down, right? That sounds like a good movie. I like heist movies, and it sounds like a good movie where you have the heists that are done differently, done in a unique way. It's a pity that's not the movie they made. And the later half of the film is actually the more exciting part, where we see the character of Yuta hunting down the character of Bodhi. It becomes very cat and mouse between the FBI agent and the mad activist slash spiritual athlete. But again, that's all towards the end of the film. So it takes, you're waiting most of the movie before it actually gets anywhere exciting. So guys, those are my thoughts on the movie Point Break. I wasn't really impressed with it, but if you've seen it, let me know what you thought in the comments below. And to keep up to date with K-Reviews, be sure to subscribe to this channel and to like the Facebook page in the description below. Also, just to start a discussion, what movies do you think deserve to be remade? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. I've been Kay, you've been awesome.